Buenas, welcome to Conversation with Coco. I'm your host, Ariana Nieves, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dave.
I'm David from Everyday Accounting. I can't wait till you start seeing this next episode with Conversations with Coco.
Calling to go when I need all the answers. She told me don't worry, I got you, keep dancing. Future is popping as God is a witness. Start a new business, oh and like vision. I told the people accept me for me. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. Excuse my temper, I'm just flowing like trees, like the waves in the ocean. Potion got me pouring. I'm holding the crown, please like down if you want it. You better come stepping with Curry and Jordan. Trend to the music, don't listen to lyrics. I'm searching through myself to catch in my spirit. Senses is clearer, you whisper, I hear it. I'm getting stronger, yeah, I feel it, I feel it. Hey, do not come near me with negative energy.
Buenas, welcome to Conversations with Coco. I'm your host, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dave. I almost said your last name, I almost fucked it up. What's it again?
Gergis.
Yep. Okay, cut, retake. All right. Buenas, welcome to Conversations with Coco. I'm your host, Ariana Nieves, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dave Gergis.
Hello.
So we're gonna get into, this is Dave's first interview,
Yes.
so we're gonna loosen up all the
Yes,
whole
please.
vibe,
Please.
right? We're gonna, but we're gonna get into a bunch of stuff. So I've actually known Dave since I was in diapers, Jersey City to a T.
Yes.
We've grown crazy in different ways, and we grew apart definitely, and then the universe just brought us back together, and now you're in an amazing position where you own your own business.
Yes.
Called Everyday Accounting.
Yes.
So I want to get into that. Let's start there with that accolade.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's funny. I've been working for like the corporate America world for over 12 years, and what got me into like creating my own business was actually at the house. So a lot of people don't know that I took my enrolled agent exam 2017, and I got certified in 2018. Right. So basically that means I can legally, in front of small businesses or businesses, individuals, trusts, estates, I can prepare your taxes, do your taxes, help you with tax planning, and also represent you in front of the, I guess, government courts in regards to any situation that you might have. So when I had that, and then I started doing that on the side, it was just very lucrative for me, and I was just doing it for friends and family, right?
Right.
And I just saw something where it's like, okay, I think this is the piece that I can add together with my accounting skills, because my highest degree, I'm not a CPA. My highest degree in accounting is my Master's of Science in Accounting from right here, St. Peter's University.
Big shout out to St. Peter's University.
Yeah, really cool.
Wait, did you go to college with my cousin Thomas?
No.
Okay.
So I got my undergrad at Berkeley College here in Newark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the cool thing about Berkeley College is that I got my accounting degree in 3 years. So that's the purpose, the reason why I went there, because I went to school late in my life. I went back when I was 25.
Okay.
So being that enrolled agent and having that tax side, I was like, wait, I can actually formulate a business here, and actually make this available for my community, where a lot of people in the community have, it's cemented with older generations and things like that, and they don't have the new people coming in who understands crypto, who understands how they can help somebody like yourself,
right,
who is an entrepreneur, not only like a YouTuber and all these things, but how you can actually monetize off of that. Mm-hmm. So a cool example was the one that kind of like flicked in my head was one of my friends introduced me to their friend, and he's a big time investor. And he was like, hey, let me pick your brain. We were literally having drinks, and he was like, let me pick your brain. My CPA told me that when he's filing my loss, because he had a $70,000 loss from his investments, he was like, he needed to do all these extra things. And I just laughed, because you don't need that. You don't need to do all these extra things to claim your $70,000 loss or whatever. Right. So when he heard that, and we sat down together, and I did it for him and his wife, because they're married, filed jointly, he's the one that was like, dude, why don't you have a business, man?
And just showed you right there. Honestly, like
I learned actually like that, because I don't.
In it.
Yeah, because
Yes.
a lot of times, when you're in this industry, there is a mentor or a mentorship that kind of guides you. I've never had that because
You do things your own way.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I don't like to bend the knee on something when I know in my heart that's not right.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
feel the same thing when it comes to real estate. And I love, because the same thing, like the typical agent, successful agent in 2022 is in his mid 50s, white male who's had real estate familial connections prior to him being involved. And that's in Jersey City. Like, this is not even the country. This
Yeah.
is what's successful for what's in Jersey City. So yeah, I understand it's the majority of my clients, like you're saying, are unconventional. You know what I mean? Just like myself, when I came to you as a full-blown entrepreneur officially, when I was bartending previously, and I was telling you I pay at least $3,000 a year in taxes, you almost gagged. And you were like, absolutely not. It was the first time ever when I worked with you that I was able to be like, wow, I've had so much access to so much stuff to benefit me as an entrepreneur that I didn't even know.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I didn't mean to have that expression. It's just because it's really sad that people in my community, Hudson County, right? I grew up here. I grew up in Jersey City, went to high school and all that stuff here. And to see people like yourself not knowing these things, or nobody that you went to is actually helping you and just keying in numbers, it really it really burns inside of me, because I just feel like these are like my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I come from an Egyptian background. My parents came from Egypt, and I had to literally learn from everything from, like, again, I didn't have no mentor. I didn't have guidance. I had to like really dig and pick before Google and before YouTube, okay? And
that's just life, because life here is different. Like, coming from what's beautiful about Jersey City, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the area, majority of people are either like Dave, first generation yourself, or like me, mixed from two first generation parents. So yeah, like, you're kind of thrown into the thick of it, and this is an inner city, like any other city that you would grow up in or know about, and you learn the hard way just in life experiences.
Yeah.
And I can tell for a fact that you took that same grit with you into your business, which makes you the entrepreneur that you are today. You're able to assist people in a completely different way.
yeah, and the thing is, I hate when people say, because you did recommend a really cool client for me, Delilah.
Yes.
And one of the things she said was that her CPA that now she shifted to me was that he never had time for her.
Wow.
And that right there was like one of my mantras for everyday accounting. It's not about the money. Literally, it's really not about the money, because I have money. You know, it's more of, I want to educate. I want people to know, like, confidently when they're out and talking and mixing and talking to their peers, hey, no, like, that's not right. My guy took care of me, and this is how he does it. Like, you don't need to call me to explain it. You can explain it.
Right.
And I can sit with you on the phone 5 times and explain the same thing over until you get it.
Literally.
And when I scale and I start hiring people, that is going to be part of my script. That is going to be part of their script, where you need to take time and take care of our clients. We don't, if for any reason we can't take care of everything, then I'm missing something in my operation or infrastructure. I have to fix that, because I think that's the different, like, what's gonna separate me versus all these tax attorneys, CPAs, and all the other enrolled agents. Because a lot of other enrolled agents also are still stuck in that little bubble.
And that's something that when you're working with, okay, so again, me as a real estate agent, there's like a dream team that I always talk about for anything that you do.
Every time.
especially when it comes to purchasing property or selling your property, whatever it may be. But it should always be the real estate agent, a real estate attorney, and your accountant, ideally an EA or a CPA.
Yep.
And the reason why I say that you want to be sure about the person that you're working with, you're right, 99% of accountants, EAs, CPAs, it's their job. So they're just working their hours, typing. I fell victim to it for years, and I thought I was doing the right thing by going to an accountant and trying to take care of myself. It wasn't until I actually worked with somebody who gave a shit about not only me, but like my business, myself as an entrepreneur, my unconventionalism, that you're not only do you educate me every step of the way, look, do this instead of this, make sure you do this way you can set yourself up, but you also let me know when you're doing this for your own business, this is exactly how you have to get it done. So when I hire, I can tell my team the same thing. And that type of financial literacy is something that we don't receive ever. So to have it for somebody that's from this community, what?
No, I mean, it's literally an honor for me because when I hear like your story and other people, and I help them, and they think like, okay, is this it? I'm like, no, you're my client for life. Like whatever you need. Yes, they paid me for the service, but I'm not gonna charge you every time. No, you can call me, email me, whatever. I mean, you can ask anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I've never sent somebody Dave's way that not only had a positive experience, but just has spoken your name to so many people. Like your reputation speaks everything of you.
It's just the beginning too, you know.
Right.
It's just the beginning.
They don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
So now that we got into you just obviously in your job title and as an entrepreneur, we're gonna get into some like nitty gritty.
Yes.
We have a segment on the show called Entrepreneur Shits.
Yep.
A bunch of stuff nobody talks about as entrepreneurs, so we'll get into it. But before we get there, I'm gonna bring you up as a father.
Yes. Yep.
Because I knew Dave before he was a daddy. So, and you have an amazing, beautiful wife, 2 kids. You want to get into that?
Yeah. I was blessed to meet my wife in the end of 2013, and literally I knew right away I was gonna marry her.
Wow.
Right away, and we got married, and
It's the Latinas.
yeah. So my wife is Puerto Rican, and it was more of her personality and the way we gelled, and you know, I feel like the thing that was missing throughout my whole life when it came to relationships was the communication part. And man, she made it so comfortable for me to be myself and to tell her anything, no matter what it is, you know. And man, I just knew right away. We got engaged in 2016, and then I got married on May 20th of 2017.
Wow.
And then we ain't stopped there, man. We
Back
right
to-
away. I was like, I need my kids. I want my kids. So then my daughter was born in June 9th of 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, so Ella was born that year, and then
Is she a Gemini?
she is a Gemini.
Ooh, she's
Yeah.
gonna be a powerhouse.
She already is.
Yeah.
She already is. I could tell the 2 sides already.
Yeah.
So, but I'm super blessed with her. Also, my son, he came not right after, like 1 or 2 years, and then he was born December 7th of 2020. Wow. So he was a real pandemic baby, and that was a really a different experience versus my daughter, and meaning like the birth, while everybody was at the hospital with him, nobody could be at the hospital and things like that.
Scary.
Yeah, and yeah, now today they're 4, Ella's 4, and Cameron's 18 months. Yeah, love them. I love them.
And beautiful. For
Oh,
a
thank
fact.
you.
It's
Thank
the
you.
mixed babies for me. I love it.
Thank you. Yep.
So, I mean, since your transition, because I feel like you were able to do both at the same time, like transition as a man into fatherhood, into being a husband, a partner.
Yep.
Also, your maturity level's on a whole other level after that.
Appreciate it.
And also, you were able to completely develop your business literally through the thick of it during COVID.
Yeah.
So, throughout all of that, what's kind of one of the biggest things that you've learned in that process?
A lot of people are scared to sacrifice.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's the real, like the main thing. And meaning sacrifice, meaning like, okay, you can't go out. You know, don't, like, you can't do fantasy football. You can't do the things that I was doing before, because to develop into an entrepreneur, you gotta put those things on hold for a little bit so that you can actually prepare yourself for being one day free enough to do those things again.
Oh.
So by doing that, it made me really hyper focused on the goal in hand. Having my children and my wife around, like I said, my wife is my biggest supporter. So she's the huge soldier in my heart, because she held it down for me. So certain things that she knows, okay, let him do whatever, she'll take care of the kids, or take them to the park, or do the other stuff.
Partnership.
And it's not easy for somebody who is literally like 120 pounds, you know, carrying carriages and all these things, but she did it because she wanted me to create something for us, you know, and
she's an entrepreneur herself, an unconventional entrepreneur at that.
Yeah.
And you guys are like a powerhouse, man. Like having that balance and support, that's not easy for her to take a sacrifice too. You know what I mean?
And that's why I go hard, because whatever she wants or whatever is going to happen in the future, it's all for that. Because don't forget that you know, you got to take care of your partner. You gotta, I know you're putting your head down, grinding. You gotta get up and be like, hey, let's go out to a nice dinner at Andu in downtown Jersey City, you know, fancy Korean, dinner.
Some separation. You know what I mean?
Let's go on a vacation.
Ooh,
You
yep.
know, hey, put it on the card. It's not a problem. Let's go do this. You know, and that is the most important part, that you got to have that balance. Yeah, sacrificing and doing all that, it sounds a lot, but it's like anything else. Once you pass that 2-week mark, it's like, okay,
Habit.
muscle memory. Yeah, it's a habit. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I love that. And I want to get a little bit more into the relationship that you and your wife have. I can't imagine you guys didn't have adversity to get you there. And I mean, as a mixed child, I know what my parents went through. Is she also first generation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So both of my parents, like, they went through hell when they made the decision to come together.
Yeah.
And like, for me as a mixed kid, you know, my boyfriend is first generation. He's kind of experiencing it as well.
Yep.
So I just wanted to pick your brain. Like, you guys are so strong. I wanted to know how it started, like kind of how everything went through.
I mean, to be honest, when you and your significant other have communication and understand, like, hey, you can tell me anything and like keep me in the loop with whatever, you can do anything. And literally, we don't have family members who help. The only person that helps us out is her mom, Maria, and she's a godsend. Okay, I give
Shout
her,
out to Maria.
Yeah, she really helps us out as much as she can. You know, she lost her husband last year, and you know, Jose was a really good guy, but her story is a little bit different, where she struggled for, I want to say 15 years, because he was bedridden, because he had two I forgot, like 2 seizures or something that kind of made him bedridden. Wow. So she was taking care of a grown man at that age, and Maria's like almost 70 now. So we're so blessed to have her. But with me and Elena, my wife, we just like, we are like soldiers. Like we understand that we have to take care of these children, raise them as much as possible, but also do the other side of things. And literally, it's a 24-hour job. Like it's not a thing where, okay, I'm gonna do this on the weekends. No, every single day we plan out, we see what we're gonna do, what's gonna be the schedule that might kind of affect something. I gotta push something here and there because we gotta take the kids to an eye doctor appointment or whatever the case may be. And we, as long as we have that, communicate with each other and be open with each other no matter what, I think anybody can do it.
Man, and I love that you're so hell-bent on communication, because this is something that I think probably is my biggest takeaway through my experiences. And yeah, I agree, man. If you're not, I feel like the only person that you have in this life is the person you have the opportunity to pick. Like, you don't choose your family. You know what I'm saying?
You're born into it.
You're born into it.
Yep.
And we don't choose our environment. We're also born into it.
Correct.
So, like, when we develop ourselves to a point, like, I'm so dedicated to breaking every fucking cycle that I come from.
Yep.
Like, that line of communication to my partner is something that I'm, like, non-negotiable on. So we have to go through and experience, okay, like, this shit is how our parents' brains work, and it's not working. So how can we readjust?
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Or our family or our upbringing or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful that you shared that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all, like, family is everything to me, you know what I mean? And when you say communication, you know how much time it saves you when you can really communicate? You can save a lot of headaches, a lot of time and things like that. So I could, like, not only in your relationship, but also in your business.
Right.
You know, like, just don't, like, say a one-liner and think they're gonna understand what you're doing or saying. They're gonna still be confused. And it's your responsibility to make sure that they understand. So anytime I get on a call with a client, I always say this first thing. Are you the sole person who does decisions? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. When they say no, I'm like, okay, can we set up another time or schedule when we can have everyone together? Because I want to make sure I communicate clearly to make sure that you both understand something. Because if I tell you something, you're going to miss something and tell that person, your partner, something different where they're going to be like, no, or whatever. So I like to make sure that everybody's in the same boat together so that there's no miscommunication or you know, oh, I thought he said this or whatever the case may be.
This is something that I need you guys to take with in life, okay? Like, that I agree 100%, and especially when it comes to business, and you work with people's numbers. So there's no room for even a misunderstanding, let alone an error.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So having that clear level of communication, being able to speak openly in front of anybody that's involved is something that I'm so hell-bent on. And
it's practice. It takes practice.
It
No,
takes
seriously.
time.
Even for me, when I used to take sales calls for my company, I was a fish. I did not know anything.
Yeah.
But I started teaching myself, learning, taking seminars. I went on Eventbrite is like I love that place because I can type in certain things, and I went to these events where I'm learning how to speak, I'm learning how to communicate, and it's never too late. You know what I mean? Because I learned that trick
Right.
where hey, are you the only person that does
the decisions.
I didn't do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you learn certain things, but it's your responsibility to really go do that. As an entrepreneur, you don't have somebody showing you these things. You know what I mean? And if you do, that's great, but still, it's your responsibility. It's not that person. That money's not going to their pocket. It's going to your pocket. So just a lot of times I have to always remind myself that so that I don't be hell-bent and feel negative all the time. I'm always trying to be positive. I know there's always tomorrow. Whatever happens today, let it be, and then let's turn the page for tomorrow.
100%. Everything that he's telling you guys is literally coming from a man who's 100% self-educated. And since I know what that's like, because same, I want to get into failure, because that's a big proponent of learning.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's talk about some things you fucked up, Dave.
I want to say it's not about being like fucked up or whatever. It's more of I was kind of like diminishing my light in front of people. That's where I kind of that's why today I'm 39 years old and just starting to do this. So like what I mean by that is in my past I had a group of friends, some of them.
Yeah. Talk your shit, Dave. Go ahead. Get into it.
And it's really more of, I just want to I'm actually telling these to a lot of people now where when I say I was diminishing my light for their growth or whatever, I meant is that one of my friends wasn't really, had enough money or anything like that growing up. So I felt uncomfortable, let's say
Successful.
Flaunting my new car or this opportunity or whatever in front of these people because they're not there, and I didn't want them to feel like I was disrespecting them in a way. But I did everything that I'm doing today for myself, for these group of guys, and man, it was over 12 years where I did this, where it was, it was a failure, to be honest with you, because I failed myself in the opportunities that I gave myself. I didn't give myself anything. I would give it to them because I was loyal. I was,
shit we learned growing up where we're from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Today I'm not with none of them.
Amen.
And ever since I did that pivot, I've been nothing but going up since then.
Exactly, and it's it's a 12-year learning experience, but those 12 years allowed you to do what you're doing in your business in less than 2. So
Yes.
It takes people a lifetime to develop what you're developing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And especially the fact that you're so sure of yourself, you're so sure of your business. Like there are times where I'll bring unique clients. I work with unique clients, as a real estate agent. I'm unconventional, and I'll bring unique clients to Dave that I know he can assist. And I'm telling you, I'll call Dave and be like, well, this is going on. He's like, well, I'm going to do X, Y, Z in this. I'll give you a call right after, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. And it's just the level of trust that I have with you because I know that you've already been through the ringer. You've learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You know the experiences. And one big thing that I was taught that, sticks with me is that I had to learn the hard way, too, because you know where I come from.
Yes.
Essentially is that when you do too much for people, they love your hand, not your heart.
Yeah.
And that shit, once you put that into perspective, you're like, you literally, my mom is a definition of she will give the shirt off of her back. She will have nothing to give to somebody else. And I had to break that cycle. I had to learn that, unless my cup is full, I can't serve nobody.
You're 100% right. And I think literally once I started focusing on and putting the light on towards what I was doing, because mind you, I'm very resourceful, meaning I don't like to hear that word no. I hate that. When somebody says no or you can't,
I think that's a cultural thing too for you guys.
I mean, me growing up in Jersey City, I was always got confused because I look Hispanic. They would always be like, "Oh no, that's that Egyptian kid or whatever." When I used to play heavy basketball, heavy in Jersey City, so I knew everybody through that circuit from basketball. So when they found out years later that I wasn't Spanish and that, I did feel like, okay, they was like, all right, go that way. You know what I mean? And I didn't like that. So what I would do is get better, and then when I go on the court, I'm shitting on you.
Right.
And now you're gonna know my name. Like, you're gonna know who I am. So that was the first time that I guess that was built in me, because I was literally a follower because I didn't know who I was. I was trying to figure it out. So I would wear do-rags or baggy jeans and all these things that was around my environment because I was trying to be like fit in, where it's like, bro, that's not you. You're copying, you're an imitation. And when I figured that out, when I got older, I just want to like tell others, show others, the youth, you know, especially my kids, they're not going to have that problem because I'm going to teach them, learn them, like, you know, guide them to that. Because, you know, again, my parents, English was like their fifth language, you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't really, you know, assimilate to how it is around here, or even show me how to prepare for an SAT.
Right.
You know, so I had to learn all that by myself.
And that's stuff that I feel like nobody talks about. Forget getting into the entrepreneurship portion. This is the entrepreneurship portion. Nobody talks about any of this stuff.
Nope.
And people feel like there's a little bit of a difference, right? Me and Dave come from a community where there's no level of education within our house when it comes to any type of financial literacy, down to the basic premise of what is your credit and how do you even build it, down to the basic of that. So for you yourself, not only to self-educate yourself as a man, as a brown man in this community, first and foremost. Yeah. Statistically, you beat every statistic. You're still alive. So let's talk your shit on that.
Oh man, yeah.
But also somebody that is beyond financially literate in America, probably one of the most complicated tax codes that you have to deal with. Yeah. And I mean, your ability to never say no to anything is what makes you into what you are today.
Yeah, for any startups, okay, you can't say no. That means you're losing money, regardless if you didn't get paid yet or nothing. You have to understand that. The second part is that you got to understand pricing. You know, like, which I didn't know all these things. You know, like, I'm learning, but I can't compete. Let's say, for example, with 1-800accountant.com. They're a multi-millionaire company. They've been around for years, right? So I'm the small mom and pop shop. How can I compete? So I had to, you know, learn that. This was like a whole new language. But when it came to financial literacy, I learned it because I took exams and passed these things. So for example, one thing that I learned is when I started making money, I started like understanding, okay, let me not put this money in a savings account in a bank, but let me put it in a retirement account. So I put $6,000 in a Roth IRA for Ella, and then another $6,000 for my son Cameron. And I've been doing that every year since they were born.
Wow.
Now, why are you doing that? Well, the purpose of it is because if you put it in a bank and think that you're gonna make some kind of money, the return on that, on your savings for that, it's 0.005%. That is what they're gonna give you, the bank, but a lot of people don't understand how it works. When you put money through your bank, they're taking that and investing it and making 10x on it and then giving you that 0.005%. Like, hey, thanks for lending us your money. A lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, my money's there, we're good. Yes, but now when my kids, when they're 30, 40, and they look at that account and it says 1.6, 1.2, that's tax free. And me and my wife did that for them. I wouldn't have known if, again, I wasn't learning and understanding it. Literally, when I started reading for the enrolled agent exam, the IRC, which is the Internal Revenue Code, that is what we all abide by. It's 60,000 pages.
Nobody's reading that. I'm not reading
No.
that.
Well, first of all,
pay Dave.
first of all, you can't read something that's this tiny because that's how like in depth it is, right? But with somebody like me, I just looked at it like, okay, like this is something that we need. I need to do this as part of my accounting. This could be the other side. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. It's not only like the retirement accounts, like you can actually become your own bank by opening up a life insurance policy.
I was gonna say,
and a lot of people don't know how that works.
That even with like the crypto stuff too, there's like a whole transition of people becoming their own bank. There's so much, but continue, go ahead.
So like those type of things, and then learning about like short-term gains versus long-term gains, things like that. As an investor, it's really important that you sit down with somebody who is a professional and they can actually guide you into how, like, okay, we can actually save this or defer your money so it can be tax-free, so you don't own that money even though you earned it. How can we like hide it, where legally you can't?
Right, exactly.
So that's why a lot of people come to me, or my whole mission is I'm trying to build like maybe a YouTube channel or something where I can do more than 60 seconds, you know what I mean?
People.
And actually like have people use that video as their, encyclopedia.
Wow.
Yeah, so like now you can go to Everyday Accounting. All right, let me hear what David has to say about this. Oh wow, like and then their like wheels are turning, and now they're like, okay, let me call him, go in depth with it. Maybe he can tell me the intricacies that I can use for my certain situation, because every situation is different. Everybody's not the same. A lot of people don't make a lot of money. Like, let's say you're making $1 million and the other person's only making 60. You want to know what to do to save money on that million,
Right.
as well as that 60,000. But there's a different way to do it for you versus that person.
Right. And like people don't even understand that you can get started. The financial literacy, we don't have it in our households.
Oh no.
So I want to ask you, like, what are you going to be doing different now with your kids? Because people don't even understand, for $500 a month in a year, you're setting up Ella to be a millionaire by the time she's in her mid-30s, right? For $500 a month in savings, now $1,000 a month, you can take care of both of your kids. That's something that we can handle. Like, this is stuff that we can do. We just don't know about it.
So that's a really cool question, because there's something I've been working on behind the scenes, where I'm creating like a children, like, so I created this prototype.
Dave, do not tell me you're making a kid's book. I'll die right now.
I
will die right now.
That's one of my ideas. But the one thing that I've noticed is that when I was dealing with my kids young, we used to get like these flashcards to learn ABCs and things like that. So I'm like, I want to make flashcards for financial literacy. So I got a prototype actually that I did. Which,
this is a Conversations with Coco exclusive.
Yep,
You heard it here first.
It is. It's so crazy. Having children kind of like makes you think like, okay, like I want to give them what I never had. So like one of the biggest things that I've never had growing up was presence. My parents were never there at my big moments, at my big games, at my whatever. The only time they were there was when I got that diploma. That's it. That's their like, oh, he made it. For me, I want to be there for your pre-K3 graduation, so like whatever, be at those moments. But when it comes to financial literacy, I speak to them as if they were like a client.
Yeah.
I show them. I bring up YouTube channels of people that I look at so that they can understand. So when I started doing that, I was telling my wife, I was like, I'm going to create these flashcards. So I used a local person here in Jersey City. Hey, can you print this for me? Like, let me see how it looks. Let me see the packaging, how it looks or whatever. So I'll show it to you one day so you can see. But yeah, so she uses that. And the reason why I did a prototype, I wanted to see how she would respond to it. Because, learning about all these things, I wanted it to make it as simplistic as possible that she can repeat it. So I don't want to go too crazy in depth, but I wanted to make it sure like a 4-year-old can understand it.
And that's the foundation. And it's crazy because that education you're giving to your 4-year-old is what I fucking needed at 25. So, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That we didn't even have.
No, absolutely.
So you're opening up a whole new door, not only for your own kids, but so many generations to come. Like, again, we don't have it in our households. That's what kind of separates us from, the 1%, right? We'll say like the wealthy, the upper middle class and beyond that.
Yeah, so 1% literally is anybody who makes $450,000 a year and up. That's the 1%.
That's scary.
So you can understand it. Like
450,000. I didn't think that would be. I'm thinking like at least 2 million.
If you are making 450,000, you're a 1%er. That means you can live a really nice, rich life
In America.
In the United States of America, either in California, which is the highest taxed state, or in New Jersey.
Wow. Wow. See, the financial literacy that we're learning right here.
That's why when you said 1%, I wanted to make sure that your viewers knew that, hey, like, what is 1%? Because I get that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's 450 and up.
Wow.
Once you hit that threshold, you're now the 1%er.
And being in that position, these 1% or whatever, they're sitting here having conversations like to the point where those kids know to the dollar how much money their parents, their siblings, their grandparents, how much money they have in the bank, what they do to avoid paying taxes, how can they move their money so that they get a tax break. This is stuff that they're talking about over dinner. And you just said, you know, the way we grew up, you know, we have families who have to make sacrifices to the point where you don't even have your parents at a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different, you're developing something that now maybe even a 19-year-old parent who is having their first kid and is by themselves can be able to not only help themselves, but help their babies too. Yeah,
no, I know actually somebody like that who's currently gonna have a kid at that, well, he's not 19, he's like 21. But yeah, it's scary a little bit, but you know, with my guidance, I told him certain things. He just needs to build income. You know, once you build income, I can help you how to fan that out.
Organize it.
Exactly.
And it's funny because that's something that's, I don't know, is pretty innate in us. Like, that's something that we know how to make money. Like, that's basically the one thing that we're taught. One thing about this area is from the time you can learn how to speak, you have everybody that's around you telling you that you're broke. So you motivate yourself to make sure, just like you're saying on the basketball court, like whenever somebody talks, now I have to show you out. Now I have to make you eat your words.
Yeah.
So the making of money, that's an easy thing. We know how to do that legally, illegally, whatever way to get it done. But it's the financial literacy to maintain it.
Yeah. So like for somebody who had credit card debt, who had would always have money but zero saved, all these things. I can tell you that as of today, my money is now not like, the money doesn't control me anymore, and that's what it is. I think when you grow up in an environment where you see that is not happening and you're mimicking it because you know that's all you know. It actually like declines you a little bit in the status in this country. So you really can't really do things that you want to do because now you're like tied to the dollar. I was just mentioning that, what do you call it? People who work as a W-2, like 9-to-5ers, right? They spend the most money on paying taxes than entrepreneurs and investors. Literally 40 to 60%. So you're basically working for free because you're giving that money back.
Yep.
So when somebody says, oh, I make $90,000 a year, in my head, I'm like, no, you're probably making 67 because you have to pay taxes. But anyway, and that is the point where I want to shift to, where I want to help people. Hey, it's okay. You can have a W-2, do your thing, but just know, go ride Uber, go do DoorDash, whatever, because I can help you with those deductions to lower on your W-2, on your taxable income, so that you can get money back instead of paying money.
Right.
And then now that you have that, you're building that little side, you can get something called a SEP IRA, self-employment pension, which is that anybody can do regardless if you do have a W-2 and that company is doing a 401k or whatever. You're allowed to still do that a kind of account. And that's another money move that nobody knows about.
Nobody talks about.
Exactly.
Wouldn't even, if you didn't just bring that up, I wouldn't even know. And this is why it's so important to be working with somebody that not only believes in what you're doing as a business owner or, you know, just as a person, but also somebody that is going to be in your corner for things like this, that has the education to let you know, like, look, you've been doing things one way, I get it, but like, this is really the best way to go about it. Versus somebody that's just, like you're saying, keying in some numbers because they're trying to get through their workday. Yeah.
No, and especially in your world, right? A lot of people don't understand, okay, I just want to buy a home. I'm like, all right, that's cool. You can buy your first home, but why don't you go get some rental properties?
Talk your shit, Dave. No. It's not coming for me. It's not coming for me. Let him say what he got to say now.
Yeah, the reason why I say that, it's because a lot of people want to go get that first single family, right? And then they're stuck. You're stuck with that payment. And then you're like, damn, I got to refi and like get this lowered with the interest rates or whatever. Instead of, hey, let me go get my first 2-family. Then let me go get my second 2-family. Then let me go get my 3-family or 4 duplex or whatever, right? When you have that, that's something called cash flow. When you get cash flow that's coming every month, it's gonna pay for your single family. And you get the biggest tax breaks when you are a rental
I was just gonna say that.
property owner. Now, it's a lot of people it's not that easy. There's you got to manage the properties. You got to be careful with their I get it.
Nothing is easy.
Nothing is easy. I get it. But if you want to be that $450,000 and up 1%er, these are the things. These are the moves that you need to make. Instead of saying, I just want to get my family a single family home and whatever. Okay, now you're a liability instead of an asset. Now you don't want to be a liability. Liability, because that means you're always taking money out of your pocket and paying. Where an asset puts money in your pocket constantly. So now one of those properties or whatever that you have can pay for your nice 3-bedroom single family home where you don't have to worry about that no more. Now you're living in a free home, beautiful kitchen, beautiful backyard, maybe in-ground pool, who knows, right? But you set yourself up so you can have that.
100%.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
That's why I say that is the biggest part. When you sacrifice, down the road, I always tell people it's only temporary. This is not life for the rest of your life. It's only temporary. And once you build that and you know how it works, now you can go get that.
Game over.
Yeah.
They always say, whenever I do the same thing. I like doing YouTube interviews and things like that, hearing people speak who inspire me. And I was watching an interview with Warren Buffett, and he was talking about, he was like, the first million is the fucking hardest because you have to develop 100% into that person before you can touch that money.
Yep.
Like if you are not that person, you're not gonna touch, but once you make that first million, the rest of them are inevitable.
Yep.
And that's what kind of it takes for you to take sacrifices. It takes for you to recognize I'm a follower. This is not who I am. This is not serving me. These are things that I need to change.
You're enslaving yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're enslaving yourself. That's who I was. I'm only saying these words or whatever because I told myself these words because I was very depressed at one point. I go to therapy. I feel like everybody should, regardless. It did help me to think and look at certain things differently. And a lot of people, you think oh, it's a misconception, oh, you're crazy or whatever. No, the same
Especially
way.
coming from your background.
Oh my God, it helped me tremendously. It's like you go to the gym, right, to get fit and whatever. This is the gym for your mind. This is what you need. And once I started breaking out of that chains and knowing these things and getting my income ready so I can hit you up for my first rental property, yeah, it's gonna be game over after that. You know what I mean? Because it's not only the right way, it's the best way to live. You gotta understand, living check to check is hard, man.
And that's the hard work. The mental stuff, the healing, that is really the hard, and it's never an easy process. I go to therapy, right? And it took me a couple of thousands of dollars and 6 different therapists for me to realize I was a follower in trying to find mental health. I recognized that the people who were able to physically access me were older professionals that couldn't even understand where I'd come from. I remember that one of the therapy sessions that I had, I started talking about my upbringing, and the therapist started crying. And I remember being like, am I the fucked up one? Or and it just made me realize that when you're seeking out help, really trying to develop into the right person, you need to be able to communicate with people who understand where you come from.
Yep.
Okay? Who actually can specialize in when you bring up certain things okay, we'll talk about an inner city, when you bring up things like substance abuse, or when you bring up being a first generation child and trying to understand your environment around you, or even sex, you learn things at a very young age here, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's in your face.
So things of that nature, the reality of the city, these are things that a lot of people do not understand unless you lived in it. And we just talked about majority of the 1%. They didn't have to live through the experiences that we lived through. We make up a very small percentage of that 1%, because we didn't have the generational, information to get brought down. And with you as an individual and with what you're doing and the path that you're making for your children, with everyday accounting, what can we expect, I guess, in the future?
Well, Currently, I can tell currently what's going on. So I was working a 9 to 5, doing this behind the scenes. Now I'm not there no more. I retired, I guess, like
Gang,
from
gang.
that, you know.
Retired.
Yeah, I built my portfolio. So
But wait, you
yeah.
didn't also, I just wanted, the reason why, the position that he retired from, he's being super humble. I think you need to accolade yourself and talk to you about the companies that you were working with, the experience that you have.
Yeah, so my whole experience was majority of it was in the luxury fashion world. I worked for Dolce Gabbana, Gucci, Hermes, Kate Spade. I was contracting there. Alice and Olivia. Wow. And then I went into Vitamin Shop and things like that. So my highest position was a controller. So in the accounting world, the controller is literally right under the CFO. So I had a team. I was managing my team, general accounting, inventory accounting, all these things. And it was, the reason why I'm so elated and not doing that anymore is because I feel like I was doing all this work and hard, staying there for long hours and things like that for somebody else who is a billionaire. And I was just like, why am I doing this? And I put the seed in my head to be like, no. I have the knowledge, I have the experience, I have the certificates. Let me go and try this on my own and see if I can help out my community. And majority is my small business community, because a lot of them have been, doing it on their own or using tax prep people or whatever, and going by. I want to teach them how to be CFOs. I want to teach them how they can scale. One of the cool people that I love listening to is Gary Vee.
Yes, love
And
Gary Vee.
what he did is that he scaled his family's wine business from 3 million to 60 million. And that guy is not no accounting or whatever. He's just a hustler. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I can do this for others. I know everything. I know the entire accounting process, what you need to do. I know how to take those numbers and put it on a forecast or a budget so that you can see in the future how much you would need to create earnings so that you can make 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, 6 million going forward. And then the best part that I added to it was the tax. Being an enrolled agent, literally, I can, like I said in the beginning, I can represent business, individuals, trust, estates, whatever entity to help you as well to get to that next level. I wasn't doing that behind a desk at a company. So I was sacrificing my nights and whatever to build this. And yeah, so now I have 11 small businesses under me that I'm doing their bookkeeping. I'm working with a couple clients to close those deals. So basically, yeah, it's not a lot, but
That's a lot.
It's 50, like, just so you understand, it's $5,500 a month constant that's coming in. And this past tax season, I made $116,000 from doing 50 something returns on my own. And I have people who are CPAs, who are my friends, that I can, that actually motivate me, and I, pick their brains and things like that. And they said that one of their tax prep people don't even do that much.
Wow.
So they said that you're at the place where now you're going to start looking at to scale, meaning now once I start hiring more small businesses, I'm going to start interviewing for bookkeepers and the intro to accounting. So anybody coming out of school who want to intern, or somebody who has 1 year experience, I can start developing them to become, you never know, maybe they want to become a CPA, an enrolled agent, whatever. I have the platform for that. So me having that title, anybody underneath me, they can start learning taxes because I am the
educating. And it's clear that Dave will give you that full level of education. So if there's two things you need to pull from everything Dave just said, first and foremost, if you are an entrepreneur in any way, shape, or form, part-time, full-time, have 30,000 employees under you or a sole proprietorship, and you are working with a CPA or an EA that you're like, I feel like I'm paying a little bit more than I should. I feel like I could do this better. I feel like I'm not educated in what I'm doing. I don't even understand what my books are looking like. Give Dave a call. Okay, Dave on his website has access to do a free consultation with him.
Yep.
pick his brain, see if he's going to be the good fit. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Yep.
Second thing is if you're inspired by Dave and accounting or EA or CPA is something that you see in your future, he's looking for fucking interns, so you better hit this guy up.
Yep.
You better hit him up. You're going to
Yep.
get the best level of education for somebody that actually cares about you. This is something you're not going to find in any corporate business, I promise.
Yeah, and when I do start hiring, I also started working on learning how to take care of employees, because at the same time, if I'm gonna invest in you and take time in you, they gotta be serious, because I helping younger generation to become professionals, I want to take it as serious as possible, which I always do, and I just need to like let everybody know that it's no game. Once you start it, understand you don't have to take the long route. I can show you everything that you need to do, so you don't have to wait until your 30s. You can actually live a great life in your 30s instead of doing it starting in your 30s and then waiting till your 40s or whatever.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So one thing that I feel like I ask you all the time about, and you've helped me so much with, and I really would love for my audience to get a good grasp on, is as a business owner, there's shit that we can write off that we don't even know about. You definitely educated me all the way through, leveling up and everything.
Yep.
So do you want to kind of share about write-offs, what we can use, can't use, what we should be doing, all that?
All right. Well, the first thing is, right, that's a really good question, but like the first thing is your phone. If you're a business and you have to use your phone. So depending on what kind of plan you have, like say this is your personal phone and you use it sometimes for business, I would do a percentage of your like every month bill times 12. That total, I would do a percentage. Let's say you use your phone 50% for business and 50% for personal. So on your business return, I'm gonna deduct half of that bill.
Okay.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are like, no, I want the full thing. Change the phone from your personal to your business. And now, even though you're using it for your personal, it's on your business name. Now it's 100%. So that's one trick. Another thing is meals. A lot of people don't know, after this year, it's gonna go back to 50%.
Okay.
So this year is part of the 2-year COVID situation, where this is the last year where every meal that you do, let's say right now, after this, we go out for lunch, and I'm paying for it, I can deduct 100% of
Okay.
that. So this is the last year. So guys, take advantage for your business. You can go grab a meal, whatever the case may be, for your business, and you can write it off. As long as you save the receipt, you have the backup, you're good to go. Another, summertime, a lot of people are going on vacation.
Right? Go ahead.
Do you wanna-
He's told
do
me
you
this
wanna-
multiple times.
So once I knew this trick, I've been using it. So we're actually going to Mexico in July, and I'm taking my family with me. So what I do is, whenever I go anywhere, all right, anywhere, it doesn't matter, go on eventbrite.com, my favorite website,
Okay.
and sign up for some kind of seminar that's part of your industry. So real estate is huge in Eventbrite. You can go to Florida, Miami for your birthday, for, let's say 4 days, and you can go to a place, or Atlanta or whatever, and you can go to eventbrite.com, sign up for a free seminar or whatever, and that's part of business. So the trip that you went for your birthday is now a business trip. So now you don't want to do coach. Go get that first class.
Oh,
It's
talk
write-off.
your shit.
It's a
And
write-off.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you always want to fly first class. Moving forward in your life, it's worth the extra money first and foremost, but the conversations and the connections that I'm able to make in first class every time that I fly. The flight could be a 2-hour flight to Florida or a 16-hour flight. It does not fucking matter.
doesn't.
Bro, the first class networking, unbeatable, 100%. Now you know you can do it for free. Now it's going in your business.
And again, I can always elaborate a little bit more so you can understand, but I do it myself once I learned how to work.
Yep, this is how the rich stay rich.
yeah.
And get richer.
Absolutely. So imagine a $3,000 write-off on your tax return just from that first class flight or whatever. And then the biggest one that I always get is a lot of people are like, clothing. How can I write off clothing? All right. So I tell people this: you can actually go buy a Nike tracksuit, and if you put everyday accounting and your logo or whatever on it, not only is the tracksuit deductible, meaning you can write it off on your tax return, also the embroidery and anything like else added to it for marketing. So, and then a lot of people are like, all right, so can I go get Louis Vuitton and this and the third? That's not considered ordinary or necessary for you to write it off for your business, because why do you need a Louis Vuitton or whatever?
T-shirt,
yeah, exactly. But you can do it with a Nike or whatever else. So just know that whatever, if you're gonna go buy certain things that you like, put that logo on. First, it's free advertisement. Second, it's a write-off for the entire cost of that product.
Yep. Talk your shit.
Yeah, because a couple of my blazers that I got, I'm now putting my logo and phone number on it, so that people like walk up and they're like, oh, that's corny or whatever. Okay, but this nice jacket that I got from whatever is a write-off because I have my logo on it and whatever information on it.
100%.
So you're walking around like a free advertisement, but you like that clothing.
Right, right. Dave just gave y'all over $1 million worth of game for free in like 30 seconds, so snaps on that.
And the biggest part is like for you as well, like now this is also one of your businesses. Let's say Rolex sponsors this for you.
Rolex,
right?
Are you listening, Rolex?
All right, if Rolex sponsors this for you, right, the Rolex that either you get or whatever is a write-off. So that $10,000, $15,000 watch that you're getting because you're having this conversation or they're sponsoring for some kind of event or whatever, it's a write-off.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Because you are promoting something or marketing something for you to get money from or monetize from, like advertising or whatever, and they sponsor that, it's a business transaction.
Yeah, I'm a contractor.
Yeah. It's not like you went to Rolex and bought it and now you're like talking about nothing about that. No. If it's directly with your business and you guys team up, that's a marketing tool, and you can reduce your actual taxable income with that price.
Period. Influencers.
So I just used Rolex because that's one of my like all-time favorite watch company, and I can't wait to get my first one. But I'm just saying, like, if any company sponsors you or you use anything, that's a write-off.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Damn, Dave, you hooking the people up.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I think those are like the most basic things that people or entrepreneurs, when they're starting off, that they really like use a lot. I mean, of course, your laptop as well, you know, things like that. But I feel like that is something that they need to know, because, you know, you need to travel to spread out your name and things like that. And you need to eat, you use your phone, you know, things like that. So those are like nice, cool tricks and tips that you can start using today. And if anybody tells you otherwise, come my way. I'll take care of you.
Period. Oh man, Dave, I'm so grateful for you. I appreciate you so much. This conversation was dope. Before we wrap up, I always ask my guests, there could be somebody on here that's your age that didn't even get started, and you know, you're inspiring them. Or maybe there's a kid on here, or maybe your parents are just tapped into this. They're probably gonna kill me, hear me cursing, but whatever it may be, if there's just one piece of advice from your journey, your whole experience, what would you give to somebody?
So I want to say the experience that when I start being woke and started like learning that I am valuable. One of the things that I learned, or I can give you advice in, is rest at the end, not the middle. Yeah.
We don't have a hand mic, but I would have dropped it if we did.
And what that means is that if you have a dream, a goal, and you feel like it's you know, not reachable, you already lost. Understanding that it is reachable, that means you can't rest in the middle. You rest in the end when it's done, when you got it and everything's working. So go out, work hard, learn. One of the things that I've never done before was actually call people and ask for things. I've never done that. I recommend you do that. Don't be afraid. The fifth no is okay, but that sixth yes is gonna come. So a lot of people don't, like, they fear of rejection. I was one of them. Please don't quit. Keep on asking those questions over and over again. And if there's anything in that world where I'm in, accounting, finance, tax, like Ariana said, you can definitely contact me at everydayaccounting.com, and I'll be there for you.
I'm gonna have it right there for you guys. Make sure you guys go check him out. Make sure you guys follow him on Instagram. He gives you so much value the entire time that you're tapped into him. And that's it. Oh man, thank you so much, Dave.
Yeah,
I need a hug
appreciate
after
it.
that. That was great.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was
Oh
great.
man, thank you so much. And we will catch you guys next time on Conversations with Coco.
Calling to go when I need all the answers. She told me don't worry, I got you, keep dancing. Future is popping, as God is a witness. Start a new business, oh, it like vision. I took the people and accept me for me. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. Excuse my temper, I'm just flowing like trees, like the waves in the ocean. Potion got me pulling.